Morning. First thing, I'm going for a nice easy run, 5 miles. Just gonna record some of the madness. Haven't really done this yet. Have a decent camera right here, Canon M50. I would use my phone probably, but my phone is broken and it doesn't really record pictures or videos. I'm a big fan of using the phone for everything. Like, I love the idea that I could achieve all my dreams by just holding up a camera to myself and just on my phone that anyone else can use. That's why I loved like Sam Sulek in the beginning, because the dude literally just used an iPhone on a broken tripod. It was great. My camera's like shaking in the wind. The easy runs especially are fun because I'll just run through like random streets, and instead of like running on like the highways, which is what I feel most people do, because that's where I do like my really hard runs. So when I'm doing easy, I like to just like run random streets, see random things, stop in places, get coffee. Like, I don't really stop usually, but like shit like that. So let's go. So yeah, I have no route or anything. I'm just gonna go outside and run around randomly and stop by my favorite streets, and it's gonna be fun. This is probably my favorite street in the city, Lafayette Street. It is right next to Broadway in Soho. Broadway, if you know, it's basically like the mall of Soho, so it's just a complete mess with tourists and all this shit going on. But this side street, Lafayette, is a little quieter, has better stores. Like, you got Kith, which I'm not really a Kith guy, but it's a cool store, and got the On Running store, some better shops, bakeries, and it's a better vibe. You get some like Cobble Streets like that I really like. It's a little too late to be like running and vlogging right now because it's like 8:30 a.m. and there's a lot of people out, but fuck it. I realized that filming while running, it's very hard to also pay attention to traffic. So I almost just got hit by a car. That happened yesterday. I was running and on the West Side Highway going really fast, and usually cars know to stop, but sometimes some dude in a Prius will just make eye contact with you right before he decides he wants to run you over. And yeah, that was not great. I had to like do one of those like bullet dodges and get out of the way. These easy runs I try to take ridiculously slow. Like, I'm gonna try to run my marathon at like a 6:29 minute per mile pace. But these easy runs I try not to even go under like 9 minutes. Maybe like 8:45, but I don't know, I really use them for recovery. That's what people ask me all the time, what am I doing for recovery? And the answer isn't much, but really it's these easy runs. Really, these runs going really slow and like nice comfortable shoes, those kind of reset my body, I feel like. So that's why when I have a rest day and I have to choose between resting or doing a few miles easy, I'll almost always go for the run. And one part of that is because I'm just addicted to running and need it to mentally survive, but the other part is I genuinely feel better after I do it. The best place to run in the city is in these lanes next to bike lanes, if you can find them. It's really nice because you get like all the conveniency of a bike lane, but none of the danger. I mean, yeah, sometimes a biker will get close to you, but you're basically in the clear. Now we're at Union Square Park. I like this park. I've been coming here on easy runs, doing some laps. Sometimes it feels like New York City was made for runners and everyone else here is just kind of existing. That's genuinely how I feel. Like, it literally is a playground. You can run on any street you want at any time. There's hills. You can get some trees in Central Park. And I don't know, I just love it so much. I love running through every street, not just like the paths, not just like the boardwalks, but literally even just streets like this. Even when there's people on it. That's actually a strategy I have, is because on easy days I have to go slower, I'll purposely run in like busy areas because it helps slow me down. Because otherwise sometimes I just want to rip because I feel good. Even though for recovery I really need to go easy. Like right now, this pace, you can hear me kind of struggling to talk a little bit. I'm easily going too fast. Versus like right here, this is like getting close to like a 9-minute pace. I'm good, I could talk almost normally. It's funny how many people come to New York and then fall in love with running. Like, I feel like it's just a thing. You move to New York in your early 20s or mid 20s, then within a year or two, you fucking start running. Because it's so incredibly addicting here. It's funny how it's also not, I think New York is like the best city for running, but probably the worst city if you're lifting. Like if you want to be a bodybuilder or if you're into weightlifting, because there's just no fucking gyms. Like there's nowhere to go lift. It's wild. The only good gyms in the city, I mean look, there are Equinoxes and Lifetimes and those are great, but it's just like for a big hardcore gym feel, literally the only ones are this gym called Grindhouse in Williamsburg, and which is like all out of the way, it's not even in Manhattan. And then there's a gym called Mid City Gym towards like Times Square, but it's pretty small, it's in a basement. Versus you go to like Long Island or Texas or really any other big state, and the gyms there are like meccas, they're huge. That's why I say it over and over. If you want to change your life, just wake up early and go for a run. It's like, there's something about roaming new streets in a new place that completely transforms you. Like I think there was founder of Uber, or it might have been Jack Dorsey from Twitter. He used to walk to the office every day and it would take him like an hour when he was starting Twitter. And he says how he would specifically walk and take a different route every single day because of the effects that had on his mind. I think that is why I love running so much in the city, because you could literally run a completely different route every day forever, and those routes would honestly feel nothing alike. Like they would and they wouldn't. You know the streets, but every route would be unique. Every route would be different. All right, that's 2 miles. We got 3 left. These coming up. These though coming up are the best streets. These Soho, Cobble Streets. I just fucking love them. There's something so like cinematic about running through these. And these ones are pretty quiet usually. Like just look at this. How beautiful is this? It's insane. It's like, am I crazy that this is the best shit in the world? Just be careful on cobblestone though, you can trip pretty easily. Alright, still got 2.5 miles left. Just gonna rip through these side streets, which are actually pretty nice and quiet right now. It's because they're all shopping, and shoppers don't come out till like 11ish, 12 afternoon. So right now I'm towards the end of my marathon prep. This is the last week after what wasn't that long of a prep. I think I had 10 weeks between my first marathon, and which was December 3rd, and the second one on February 18th. So no, it's 2 months. Yeah, it's about 10 weeks, maybe 9 weeks. It's basically like a 7-week prep, because it was really like a 6-week prep, I think. Yeah, I think I worked with Jonah for 6 weeks. Feels like forever. I don't know how people do like 18-week preps. Blows my mind. But I mean, it's really the last like month of a marathon prep that I feel like is really bad. Or really the last like 3 weeks of training, where you're going out and you have this marathon goal, and if you don't hit the times in training, you're basically fucked. You're basically fucked, and there's no way you're gonna hit that in the marathon unless you, it just doesn't happen. Like Nick Bare had this great line in his video, marathons and miracles don't tend to get along. What a fucking great line. I wonder who wrote that. If he wrote that, or fuck, that's a good line. And so it's like, the last 2 weeks I've gone out for these hard runs, basically twice a week, and once or twice a week, and it is war. It is a fucking, I treat those like the marathon in terms of the intensity and the pressure I put on myself. And they've all gone well, minus one last week for a few different reasons, mostly nutrition. trying to diet before a marathon and peak marathon prep is pretty dumb. But I did it anyway, and I suffered the consequences. It's wild how important carbs are, especially like timing. Like one thing I learned last week, which I didn't know, was that before a really long run, you really want to eat carbs like 3 hours before that. And I knew that, like I did that from a marathon, but I just, for these training ones, I was eating like 30 minutes, an hour before, and it takes time to hit your system, you know, and that helped me a lot making that change. Now we're on Canal Street, good old canal. The street is always madness with people selling bags and tourists and locals and all this shit. Then we're gonna run through Tribeca, see what's going on over there. Sometimes a nice quiet place to run. There are definitely cheat codes to running, like running with friends or running, talking to a camera. It goes by really fast. But that kind of misses the point, I think. Like, I don't know if I could do this every day, talking to a camera. It's like, there's something about just being quiet in your own head, no music, and you just go out. And somehow it solves everything. It's such a simple thing, going out, putting on running shoes, and getting in some miles every morning. That one simple act and decision, I believe, will literally solve everything in your life. That's what it did for me. That's what it's still doing. Now that the race is like 19 days out, I'm starting to get the nerves like building up every single day, which is a fun feeling. I haven't had that since my first marathon. And this time it's different, because this time, the first one, I was kind of going in completely blind, and I knew like what I thought I was capable of, but there's no like data to back it up. I had like 2 hard runs. I never did anything over 18 miles. Never did anything over 16 miles hard. This versus this one, where I have like 6 to 7 massive long runs with a bunch of data. And so I kind of know what I'm capable of. The question now is the course. Austin is a nasty course where most people don't go to hit PRs, but I'm in the race, I'm doing it, and the two big factors are going to be the hills. The hills aren't that much different than my first marathon, but they are still different. And honestly, the biggest factor is going to be the heat. The heat, I realized, kind of fucks me up. There was 2 runs in New York where, I mean, most days have been like 20s or 30s, but those days were like low 50s, and my heart rate felt it. I felt totally different out there. And what happens when your heart rate gets higher, the effort feels harder, and that makes the whole run a lot harder and slows you down almost always. And so that's why I'm going a full week before to the race, literally going Sunday, and the race is the following Sunday. I'm not going there to hang out, I'm going there to freaking adapt my body. You know, I have my friend Velko telling me I'll be lucky to run sub 3 hours, and I'm like, oh, if I only run sub 3 hours, I'm gonna be massively disappointed. Like, that's not what I've been training for. I've been training for fucking 6:29 pace, 6:30. No, not 6:30. 6:29 pace, sub 250 marathon. So my goal this week, I have literally 2 more test runs. I call them test runs. Those are my 2 hard runs, and I have to be so above pace for a 250 or 6:29 pace that doing that should be easy. You know, like I probably have to be at like a 2:45 marathon pace. I don't know, I gotta talk to Jonah and see what he thinks, because I want to go in with that margin where I know I'm capable of more, and yeah, the course might set me back a little bit, but I'll still get a freaky time. And just going in with that confidence is huge. All right, nice, easy run done. Usually what I like to do, like my daily schedule, I guess, even though I don't really have one, wake up, do my run, unless my run is a big one where I have to carb up, and then I'll push the run like a few hours and just do some whatever work in the morning. But usually the routine is wake up, run, come back, shower, eat some food, usually like a breakfast sandwich and like some fruit or some juice or a smoothie, and then just try to rip on creative work as fast as I can and as long as I can while I have the energy from the run. You know, it's like you have the runner's high and you have to take that and go make stuff before it runs out. And then usually around like noon is when I start doing like busy work, so like emails and stuff for the agency I'm working with and shit like that, talking to brands, talking to sponsors, editing. I'll do more editing then. And then after that busy work, it's usually, you know, like 5-ish, 4-ish, and then I'll just rip on more creative work until I have to go to dinner with somebody or go to sleep. That's usually the routine. I'm gonna go shower. This was fun. I like talking to the camera. I like talking to the camera on the run because it goes so fast, and it is a good way to document thoughts. But I think it's better with an iPhone and not like a big mirrorless camera like this. So I don't know, learning. But this was fun. See you in a bit. Why do you eat? Smoothie's so weird.